if you're that guy, are you sitting here like, wow, I'm so famous, people want to take me out? Like, is it a badge of honor? Keep watching to find out what book I'm talking about today. Hey, this is Kyla Denanyoh, and today we are talking all about this criminal procedure slash homicide slash very interesting book, okay? So today we're talking about the book Bazaar. The author of the book is Miles Joyner. The genre of the book is fiction. The theme of the book is thriller suspense. So, Bazaar. Why this title? Bazaar.tor. TOR stands for torrents, which is like this dark web type website. And Bazaar is where you can actually bid and pay crypto to unalive people. Terrifying. Okay, so a lot of the people on the list would be fictional politicians, and then other people on the list would just be celebrities, and you would watch as people's names would go up on the list and go down based on who wants to really hurt them, right? And so it was making me think of Scandal when like Olivia Pope was up for auction and you had these people on the dark web who were making these pitches, but then also you're watching and you're like, okay, this politician, but then like depending on how he votes on stuff, he moves. How would you feel? Like, if you're that guy, are you sitting here like, wow, I'm so famous, people want to take me out? Like, is it a badge of honor? So you guys, this book was sent to me, okay? I post about doing book reviews on YouTube all the time. I post about it on TikTok, and somebody was like, hey, can I send you my book? Yes, of course. And I don't pay for these books, and that's what makes it even more cool that people are like, hey, I see the impact, let me send you my book. Thank you. Okay, so the book starts off with a murder. There's a college kid, he's out drinking with his friend, and then he is unalived by someone who created this gun with a 3D printer, right? And so then you start to follow Yimmy. Yimmy is working as like a executive protection agent. So he's working with this big company, and like where if there's a big executive, he's finding out how we can protect them, right? So then you meet Yimmy's partners, and then you get to meet Yimmy's sister Karen, and you get to see their dynamic. And so Aaron is the person who kills the guy in the beginning of the book. Why does it matter that this gun was 3D printed? Well, because then there's a lawmaker who's trying to make sure that people cannot keep 3D printing guns and cannot download the blueprints to make these guns, because then they're hurting people. So then of course they have to target that guy, and then they target the guy that takes place after him. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But Aaron ends up tied into 3 of the murders that are in the book, right? So he initially starts it, then he gets into another one with this guy who plays him, which Miles, you have to bring that character back. So Road is the guy that starts off the second hit that Aaron is attached to, but I don't care for the ending of Road, where Aaron tracks him down, gets this car, finds him, and then realizes that he's not gonna hurt him because he doesn't want to have his blood on his hands. It does play into the story of Aaron being this really good guy who actually just wanted the money, right? So like, yeah, unfortunately you have to kill people for the money, but he's like an assassin with a heart. I just don't feel like Aaron would have did that. As well, his other homeboy Danny is in prison, and then Quazim he kind of just met, so I guess it makes sense. It makes sense. But the fascinating thing about this book is that you're reading the book, and then you know you go on with life and you have to take a break, and I'm like, what happened to Aaron? Oh, I want to know what's gonna happen with Yimmy. When you're reading a book and you cannot wait to dive back into it because you want to know what's happening with the characters, that's how you know you are reading an exceptional book. Okay, so I finished the book, and then I had to do some research about Miles. So I read about him in the back of the book, and then I also did some Googling. He's worked on a whole bunch of TV shows as a script writer, and I was like, that makes sense, because you can follow the story so well, and the way that Miles incorporates new characters, how he tells the story of the cops that are in Maryland before they get to the place where Ryan Frost is unalived, and you're just like, how he talks about how the one partner gets really fat from eating the crazy stuff and the other guy is dieting, and then they end up being the ones who are trying to protect Ryan Frost, and he incorporates new characters so brilliantly. Okay, I'm never going to not think about Bobby anytime I think about Catfish. Like, the storytelling, the writing, the character development. So my favorite thing about this book is towards the end, like the last 20 pages, where Yimmy says to Aaron that you could have been my illegitimate child, because we get enough background from Yimmy and all of his training when he lived in Nigeria. And so you're like, okay, he's this military guy who ended up using his services in the private sector. And then you hear about Aaron and how his father passed, and so it's just he and his mom, and how he does want money, but again, he's the assassin with a heart. And then they end up fighting off for a second time, and then Yimmy always talks about how he doesn't want kids, right? Like he says that to his sister Karen all the time. I'm not interested in that. He's like, you're really good, you're really strong. You could have been my kid. And so I thought it was really cool because it's like the biggest badge of honor you can give someone. Like, I really respect your talent. I really respect your skills. But if you're not the type of person who enjoys books about murder, the type of person who enjoys books about like Secret Service and cops and how they do all of their investigative stuff, and if you're the type of person who does not care for anarchists and coups and people who are trying to do this whole militia thing, you will like this book. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm so true because I don't read this genre. This is not my thing. I'm more of the like fuzzy glove love type book readers. And then when I do read books that aren't like that, it's typically going to be like a historical fiction, or maybe even, of course I read nonfiction. So would I read this book again? 100% yes. I'm so excited that I have it. Miles, I hope you are getting rave reviews. And oh, now that I know that you came from TV, you have to turn this into a show. You absolutely have to. This reminds me of one of my favorite authors, Eric Jerome Dickey. And he has this series called the Gideon series, and Gideon is this assassin, but like the writing reminded me of the Gideon series because it's the lovable assassin. So okay, I do read that genre, but Eric Jerome Dickey is mostly romance. If you enjoyed this book review, I know you will absolutely love this next one. All right, so I will see you in the next one. Bye.